And hello everyone on JACON Gaming. Today we are doing something a little different. We're doing a podcast on the movie called Cats. So this originated from a joke, Alan was saying.
So yeah, we all got together for New Year's, and I was like, we were talking about the worst movie of last year, which was apparently Cats, and I said as a joke, who wants to go see Cats? And these two guys said, "Fuck yeah."
Yeah, well, we were under the premises like, oh yeah, this is a joke, it's a funny joke. And we were like, yeah, we'll see it. And then you're like, okay. And we're like, well, no, none of us can back down now because then we're little bitches.
Yeah, so we went and saw Cats.
We saw Cats yesterday. And initial thoughts, guys? What's your initial thoughts?
What the fuck was I watching most of the time? Like,
I was confused.
Like, what the fuck was it? The story. I eventually understood what was going on.
I thought it was a flaming pile of shit.
Oh dear.
I wouldn't say it's a flaming pile of shit.
Look,
Like, there are some things I would give it good credit for, but overall, yeah, like.
it was awful. It was awful.
It was
Okay.
fucking weird.
Okay, Alan. Seeing this, you seem to be taking a more positive approach to it. How about you discuss first? Give us your discussion.
Okay, so the plot I eventually understood is pretty much this was it Victoria, whereas Victoria, the main cat, I think her name's Victoria.
The white one.
The white one, yeah, she gets thrown out by her owner for some fucking reason. Who knows?
Yeah, we never find that
people
out.
don't like cats. You can see
Alan, you don't like cats.
Yeah, she was abandoned.
I hate
so
cats.
like she was
she's abandoned.
yeah.
So her storyline's pretty easy. She's abandoned. She meets these gang of cats called the Jellicle Cats.
Yes.
I don't know why that's a weird name.
That's the name of the cats. The Jellicle Cats.
Jellicle
What does
Cats.
the word
yeah.
jellicle mean?
Look that up.
It is a made-up word.
Yeah, and then they sing about dying. It's pretty much like an Australian Idol for cats. They all audition to this old woman, which is Judi Dench's character. I can't even pronounce her name. Old Deuteronomy?
Deuteronomy.
Deuteronomy.
Old
Okay.
Bitch. Old cat.
Really? We're gonna go there. Alright then.
Alright, so they audition like Australian Idol to the old cat to try and go to heaven.
Yes,
Which is
because
really
apparently
fucking-
she can grant them the power to go
Yeah, she
essentially
grants
to
them
an
the power to go to
afterlife
heaven.
where they come back and it's assumed that they reincarnate into a new cat with
So
a
she's
second
basically
chance
a
of
god.
living.
Basically a god.
Essentially, like you guess you could look this at a much darker way and saying she's killing them with the hopes that they might reincarnate into a happier life.
Anyway, the cats all have their singles, which they introduce the characters. Half of them aren't needed. They're a waste of my time.
I think a lot of it is humor as well.
Look, the humor didn't land with me. Rebel Wilson and what's his name, James Corden. Their humor did not land with me. It was just shit. What the fuck was the fucking cockroaches?
Oh my god! Okay, let's take a moment to discuss these cockroaches and the mice while we're at it.
What the fuck are these cockroaches?
The CGI on them was so distracting because they did not look like they belonged in the scene
It was
at
like
all.
CGI cockroaches with the fucking painted on human face.
Yeah, it was real bad. I wasn't a big fan of it at all. And like when the cockroaches were dancing around, like you could see a bit of their head shaking, despite the fact that their bodies were moving. Like I guess the artists did the best they could, but it looks so horribly out of place and it looks so distracting. Like even looking at the cats themselves, like the actor's face superimposed onto
I've got
like
a photo
the
of
body.
it. What the fuck is this?
Yeah.
The cockroaches were horrible. I don't even understand what the Rebel Wilson cat was doing.
No.
She like taught cockroaches to March and
So she was doing it. For her performance, like every Jellicle cat to be the Jellicle choice, they're trying to put on a unique performance to say that I deserve it the most.
yeah, they're all auditioning for it.
Yeah, pretty much. And so hers was like, because she's a lazy cat, she wanted to do a big number, having the mice and the cockroaches, be essentially her backup and like
She struggled to get
her
up for
crew.
starters.
Yeah. So that's where she was coming from, and all the other cats took different approaches, of course. But yeah, like I'll give credit to the CGI artist. The actual cats, when they move and everything, the fur on them, it looks amazing. The lighting is amazing on it as well.
The fur on the cats looks good. Everything about the cat, it looks good, except the faces and the human hands.
Well, yeah, you can't overcome the uncanny valley that is.
No, that's what makes it really fucking weird.
Yeah.
That actually to be the most distracting.
Yeah,
What?
absolutely. The fact that you can't get over the fact that they look humanoid, but they have all these cat features about them. They don't even have claws; they still have human hands.
I don't understand why some of them were wearing clothes and some weren't. Some were just like naked and showing.
Yeah, and then they could take off
everywhere.
those clothes whenever they felt like it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Don't understand it.
If she could have just taken her skin off at any time, whoever Rebel Wilson's character, she could have escaped at any time.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well,
Plot hole
the
much.
one thing I don't understand is that the old whatever.
Deuteronomy. Come on, mate.
Old Deuteronomy. Right,
Get there.
whatever it
Come
is.
on. Shit.
I know good
Wow.
England. Yeah, she didn't even see the first 3 performances. So how could she judge them?
Yeah. Well, it's
She
like
wasn't
it's
there.
assuming the audience has seen them, and
Yeah, but
by
we're
that,
not the judges.
yeah, by that stage, like the bad cat. What's his name again?
McCafferty.
McCavity has come along and already taken those the performers out of the picture.
Why was
So they can't
McCavity-
perform anyway.
For starters, why was McCavity bad? He was just bad. For
No,
being
no,
bad.
because he wanted to be the Jellicle choice.
Yeah,
And,
so did they all though.
They all did. He was just bad.
Yeah. But the fact is, he wanted to eliminate all of his competition so that
And how
he
come
would
he's
be
the
the
only
choice.
cat that could fucking teleport?
Yeah, I don't get that. I don't get that part.
Yeah, the
Where
magic
That
bit.
part didn't make sense to me.
I understand.
But then the
Really?
other cat who can do magic, he obviously
Mr.
can do.
Mistopheles.
Yeah, Mr.
got that
Mistopheles.
name
Wow,
right.
the names are really set in with you.
The magic
Or do you have them on the screen?
Mistopheles.
I've got them on the screen.
Okay.
So
I was gonna
still can't
say.
say Duty Jensen's old Detroit.
Deuteronomy.
Shut up.
Deuteronomy.
Old geometry. I'll just call it that.
Oh my lord.
Way to butcher the name.
Old geometry. Whatever. Yeah, she missed the first 3 performances. McCavity took Rebel Wilson's character, James Corden's character, the cat that was really sexy, and
Are
everyone
you
was like,
secretly a furry?
no, what's his name? Jason Derulo.
Oh, right.
Why wasn't he? Why didn't McCavity take him?
Maybe it's his secret son. Who knows?
That
No,
sounds
he's-
stupid.
Yeah, it's fucked. Why
I don't
can't
know.
find- Oh,
There's
Jason
cats
Derulo,
dancing
yeah.
around with human
Rum Tum
faces and
Tugger.
posable thumbs. That is the least of your concerns.
Rum Tum Tugger. Why wasn't he taken, but the others were?
I don't know, man. Well, I guess he was a very elusive character anyway, and he was already in the building at that stage. Besides, he was also kind of an antagonist. Because
Little.
he was
just
not as
sexy,
much as
that's all.
not as much as McCavity, but he was
just
still
used sex appeal.
yeah. But he also shunned the other chick, the Jennifer Hudson, Grisabella.
Oh yeah, speaking of Jennifer
Yeah.
Hudson, what the fuck? No one had a problem with Grisabella except for that one bitch cat that was like, nah.
Yeah, fuck off, right?
Yeah, when the old geometry just be like, oi, fuck off, little cat, let old Grisabella in.
Yeah. Yeah, like that's honestly just what was happening. It's a Taylor Swift coming in there as well and then never returning.
Yeah, that was really random, wasn't it? And you know what else
Yeah.
was random? The whole scene where they're destroying that house. Had nothing to do
Right?
with anything.
Oh, I guess it was like setting up the premise that these two characters are kind of like they're shady, but they're also puppets, and they come into a bit of play in the part where they steal, where they help steal Deuteronomy away. Like at least they establish the characters early, and like the main character, what's her name, Victoria. She's essentially being introduced to every single type of jellicle cat there is.
Well, there's even a tap dancing cat, which
because let's face it, the
I didn't
the
mind
overall
the tap
tone of
dancing
the
cat.
he was alright actually. He did alright. The overall tone of the movie was this is how cats are. These are like street cats and all that. You have to understand cats, and definitely don't call them dogs. That's for sure.
I call my cat whatever I want.
It's not even your cat.
No, my sister's cat.
Yeah. But yeah, that's essentially the thing. It's literally a performance about cats. There's no hidden context or anything. Like, I guess you could draw some parallels here and there of like the afterlife and deserving second chances and all, but mostly it is about cats. And at least as we perceive it. I'd like to make a note as well. We are not its target audience.
No.
I don't know
God,
who
the
its
target
target audience
audience
is. The
was.
cat
I
lady
guess-
from the street? I don't know.
I guess the people who like the
Well,
Broadway
the people
show?
who were in the theater with us, which were maybe like 10 others.
But there was an old couple. I imagine, that old couple I think is based on because they like that shit.
Yeah.
There was a group of dudes and a group of teens. They
Yeah.
were probably there for the same reason as we were. It was
Oh
horrible.
yeah, look, I heard some audible groans from the back of the cinema.
Yes, so did I. I just wanted it to end.
Yeah, as soon as like we were 5 minutes in, I just turned to Alan and I was just like, "Can we leave?"
And I was
I
like,
actually went to Alan like 15 minutes in and I'm like, I'm going to walk out of this theater. And you're like, nah, you're not going anywhere.
yeah, fuck no, we're staying there.
Yeah. Well, look, it was a commitment, and now we have content to talk about.
Wasted $10 if you ask me.
Look, yes. That's all I got.
I picked the next movie.
Yeah.
Look, I haven't seen the Broadway play.
No, apparently that's fantastic. Like that's
Yeah,
done.
apparently.
And look, honestly, I could see this
It
doing.
looks okay. I probably won't watch it because I've seen this. The
Well,
storyline is just not good.
On
for
that
me.
note, the tone and contemporary pieces on the actual screen for cats would be perfectly fine in a theatre. It would be fantastic. Like that weird little bit where they're all hissing and their tails are going up like rattlesnakes. That would have looked just fine on the stage, but it looked really weird on film for some reason.
I think it's because they went for the full cat instead of costumes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because in the stage play, they're in costumes, so you go along with it because it's costumes, and costumes look really good on them. But this is fucking full-on humanoid weirdo cats and mice and fucking little tiny faceless cockroaches. And look at them! They're fucking horrendous.
It's really bad.
is that?
It's very, very distracting. I'd also like to bring up the box office mojo statistics on this. This movie was made for, let's say, $95 million, right?
Really?
And so
the
far-
budget here is the 90 million.
I got
Yeah.
90 million as well, but yeah, roughly
95 million. So domestically it's done 25, and internationally it's done just a bit over 29 itself. So
Really?
yeah, so it's worldwide. It's a 54.
That's interesting because I got 57 million on my screen. That's the box.
Mine's
office.
probably not. It may not be updated, but
give or take a couple million.
give or take. That's.
Yeah.
I'm not saying it's not going to have made 40 million in the last few days that you've checked your site and where I've checked mine. It's definitely not. And I doubt it's going to hit its 95 million budget. So this movie looks like it's going to make a loss. And it's at the end of its run.
Yeah, it's
anyway.
definitely going to make a loss because who wanted a Cats movie?
No one.
Cat lovers.
No one.
No
No,
one
not even
wanted
cat
it.
lovers wanted a cat movie. No one wants
No.
a movie like this.
No.
But they made it.
Yeah, it was a real questionable choice. But I will say in this defense of it, the Cats movie actually has some beautiful set design and actually beautiful character design.
Yes, no, that's what I was going to... Yeah, so probably the pros the pros is probably the set design. Most of that looked really good, even though it was like big and extravagant. That looked really good.
Well, yeah, like it was all like thinking about it. The cats that were there, they were all to scale to like how cats would be to the buildings.
I feel like the cats were. Everything was really tiny. I feel like.
Yeah, well, that's because cats are much smaller.
Yeah, but I know that. But the rats was tinier to like smaller to the cats, and then
Yes.
cockroaches were like the same size. Like if you scaled us down to a cat, you'd scale the cockroaches down even further. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
We wouldn't be able to see them. That's probably why.
Yeah,
they were
it seems
bigger.
like cockroaches were the same size, but to a cat's. Yeah, it's.
I
Just, all out
think
of
that
proportion.
actually also plays on the fact that they'd done so much establishing on the size of the cats that when we saw the cockroaches, we're already involved in this world, and that the cockroaches, like, we feel like they should be bigger, but they're probably to scale of the cats. They probably did a decent job doing that. Otherwise, if not, shame on them. But I actually didn't have a problem with their scaling. I just didn't feel like they belonged in the scene. It felt like a very, very clear way. You could clearly see they were CGI'd through a green screen onto there. And in any visual...
For most of it, I reckon it was... I reckon the background was CGI. But
Yeah.
the sets were actually... I thought they were real.
No. I'm talking about, like, when you grab the
you're talking about
elements
the
of the
cockroaches.
backgrounds and the cockroaches or the mice
Oh
put
yeah,
into
no,
the
they were
same
definitely...
scene.
Yeah, they were
Yeah,
definitely
it was
green screen.
distractingly obvious.
Yeah.
And
I
I
found the
couldn't
poem-
look away from it.
The poem's only 5 paragraphs, so how do they turn that into a theatre production and then into a movie? There's
Well,
not
that's
much to go on.
I was reading up that that when people were actually like putting this into development, the backers were actually a bit nervous whether this would be successful or not, because it was a musical about cats. So, like, I guess the argument could be made is just like, well, they were making a movie, they're taking the same risk. They already know Cats was successful as a poem and a theatre production. Why wouldn't it be successful as a movie? And this is why.
Well,
Well, it makes sense, because what has Andrew Lloyd Webber done? Because he's done Phantom of the Opera.
Yes.
He wrote Phantom... And Phantom of the Opera was a good movie. Actually, I enjoyed that movie.
Yeah.
wait, who
and
did
that
I thought Tom Hooper developed this.
No,
Directed by Tom
Andrew Lloyd
Hooper.
Webber, I'm talking about is the guy who wrote the entire Cats.
Oh, okay. Because I'm looking at the director.
Yeah, so he's done Phantom of the Opera, and they made that into a movie, and that movie was alright. That worked.
Well, yeah, like, take the writer and Tom Hooper as well. They've also got some pretty decent movies underneath their belt.
Yeah.
You know?
King's Speech, Les Miserables, The Danish Girl.
Yeah, so the funny fact is that out of all of us, Sean is probably the one who's seen the most musicals, ballets, and performances as such.
Damn straight.
Yeah. So,
Well,
Sean,
go ahead.
your opinion, your hot take, because you're obviously, if anyone's their audience out of the three of us, you are it. So, like,
What?
let's say
I am not the target audience of Cats. No way.
no, but if anyone was out of the three of us, you would be it.
I don't like that Ozards, but anyway, look, the start was extremely confusing. I know they're trying to set the tone in that, but the language that was used, my biggest problem is unless you had foreknowledge of what was going on, it's really difficult to understand what's going on. It doesn't convey a message. In any story, you need clear communication. And while Cats does communicate, it doesn't communicate it clear enough. Like, what was it?
This movie performance, that is.
Yes, the movie performance in Cats the film. I haven't seen the theatre production, though I hear it was very good. But in Cats the movie, the communication they're trying to portray in each individual scenes, it's confusing. Like, you get the basic gist of it, but you don't get any of the undertones or the meat. Like the very first number, what's it called? I've got the thing here. What is the first number? Is it Overture, the prologue? There's Jellicle Cat.
Yeah, Jellicle songs for Jellicle cats.
Yeah, okay.
Fucking Jellicle crapheads.
I think this movie would benefit a lot from a second viewing.
No.
No!
Let me finish.
Mushrooms.
Let me finish. All right.
No.
The movie would benefit a lot from a second viewing now knowing what you're going into. And the story, I actually, thinking about it a lot, the story actually does make a lot of sense, but you have to be in a different mind frame. Like, it doesn't follow traditional storytelling of most movies that we'd go see, like something like Welcome to the Jungle or Arnold Schwarzenegger
No, because
movies.
it's not a movie.
Yeah.
It's a musical.
It's a musical turned into a movie, so it has
Yeah,
a very
just
different
film.
type of storytelling.
That's totally fine. You can use another medium to tell the same story,
But-
but it
yeah,
has
but
to convey the same message.
I think
has
it
to do
did. I think it
clearly.
did pretty well, actually. I didn't think it did too bad. I wasn't really lost for that long for most of the movie, but I was just saying, when does it get interesting?
Yeah, I didn't find it getting interesting at all. I found it boring. Some of the songs were good. I couldn't name you them.
Jellicle cats
The rest
come
were
out
shit.
tonight, Jellicle
Yeah.
cats.
See, you
Yeah.
loved it because you're fucking singing it.
I do not like it. It's stuck in my head because it's catchy.
Bullshit.
Quiet you.
Some of the songs are catchy, but I'm not singing them ever.
Look, the only song I knew that from the show was "Memory" because that's his most famous song. Yeah, that's
Dude,
like
get
his
some
most
singing
famous
lessons
song.
before you try to do that again.
Like, I couldn't even understand half the things she was saying when she was
I
singing.
couldn't understand half.
I
the
could see
song.
that there was a lot of emotion coming through, but I was just like, could you please stop crying for a moment so I could actually hear what you're saying?
Take those tissues
Yeah.
out of your mouth so I can understand you.
I didn't know why she was crying or what she was singing about. I just
Because
know
she
the
was
songs were
basically kicked to the curb.
yeah,
I think
by the one bitch. Just
By
get rid of
the
that
mi-
one bitch.
no,
and
I
get
think
back
this is
in.
prior. This is prior to that.
prior.
So I think she was originally an abandoned cat, but she used to have a loving home, where she was a beautiful cat and she had everything she wanted, and then they abandoned her. Whereas Victoria was abandoned straight up, so she didn't have any of those beautiful
No,
ghosts,
the reason
so
she
to
was
say.
she was abandoned or outcast was because she had something to do with McCavity.
I didn't.
Yeah.
I didn't.
Yeah, oh yeah, I remember that now.
Yeah, she had something to do with McCavity.
No, I think that's probably-
I have no fucking clue what it was.
Huh.
It was just something she like.
Maybe I read that wrong.
Maybe
any
she blew a
case-
kiss at him. They had coffee. I don't know what the fuck it was, but as soon as that happened, they were like, "Nah, bitch, you ain't coming back to our."
What is this,
Jellicle
a Dark
Cat."
Ages? You had coffee with a heretic and now you're marked for life?
No, I'm saying she did something with McCavity,
Yes,
Fuck
and it's not
knows what.
explained.
and they fucking threw her away.
Yeah, for no good reason. It's not explained. Just because you hang out with McCavity doesn't make you an evil cat or whatever it is.
It could.
No, I'm not arguing on this. We'll be
If
here
you
all
hang
night.
out with Hitler, people are going to say.
Okay, that is
you're
a
friends with
very
Hitler.
different example.
Oh,
No,
okay.
McCavity's evil.
Why? We
Shit
never,
dog.
we never know why he's evil or
No,
the big
he's
bad
just
cat.
evil because the movie needs a villain.
Yeah, I understand the movie needs a villain, but villains are just victims that haven't had their story told.
No, some are just villains. I didn't
do you
think
mean
the
some are
Joker
just
was any
villains?
less of a villain when I watched his movie.
Well, there's a bit of tragedy behind him
Yeah, but then he chose the worst means of dealing
because he didn't have much of another option.
with it. Yeah, okay, look. I just found an article by Polygon. Disabella is a lonely cat who has been shunned by the other Jellicle cats, possibly because she's implied to be a sex worker, which is a bad practice on the part of the Jellicle cats. Disabella is probably the most coveted and well-known role in the play, and is usually played by a celebrity or respected Broadway dame.
Okay,
I did
see,
not
that
get
would
that
have
at
made a lot
all.
more sense if that was actually conveyed.
I did not get that at all.
Yeah, I
No.
didn't get that. That's totally different to what I thought.
Unless I was just so fucked out of my mind that I missed it.
Well,
I didn't get it.
really, a cat running through trash trying to get a meal? Sure. You don't turn that into a bloody 15-minute segment. I think
Look, there's a lot of
15
people.
minutes.
There's a lot of cat people out there. They probably love this movie because it just has
Yeah,
cats in the
that's
title.
fine, but I'm still saying it's a waste of $10.
Yeah, but you're cheap, Sean.
Quiet you.
Yeah, I think the highlight of the night was the all-you-can-eat wings we had before then.
That was good. That was really, really good. I had to say that. But yeah, as a musical, totally fine. Adapted to film, I should have just left it on the cutting room floor.
Yeah, let's get into final thoughts.
Final thoughts.
let's go around. Sean, what did you think? What was your final thought of the movie?
Okay,
Now that we've kind of discussed it a bit.
Scenery, good. Dancing, while at points it didn't make sense, like they were dancing for almost no reason, it was still acceptable. But
Have
as
you
a
ever seen a musical in your life? They
have you
dance
not
for no reason.
When was the
all
last
time
time you went to the theater?
I went and saw Wicked,
How
and they
many
dance
years
for
was
no
that?
reason.
Yeah, that's
They
fine
dance
on
for
the
no
stage.
reason. That's all
but it
musical,
looks,
Sean.
on the stage it's fine, but on the movie it looks weird.
Have you seen Les Miserables? They dance for
Yes.
no reason in that. Have you seen?
When did they dance for no reason in Les Miserables?
It's a musical. There's
Yeah,
the
I know,
whole
but they
time
didn't just
dance
break
for no
into
reason.
random dance. They did
They
a
do it
verses.
in every musical. What's it
No,
called?
they
Phantom Opera.
didn't.
They break into dance. Go watch them. I reckon. I bet you $10 that they break into dance for some random reason.
In
Man,
Les
I hate it when Mum and
Miserables.
Dad fight.
What's another one? Every Disney movie, they suddenly break into dance and song.
Those are animated cartoons. They're not on the
And
stage.
what's the difference between animated and real life? It's still a fucking musical.
Oh, look, the thing is, I agree with Sean in the sense that there's a difference between movie and musical, because those movies are typically designed musicals for the screen, whereas this was an adaptation of a theater, like something that was in the theater brought to a screen live, but they still wanted to keep it very true to the actual theater performance.
Then leave it as a theatre performance. One story will work in one medium and does not mean it's going to work in another medium. So, final thoughts, let's get back to that.
Yes.
Final
Sean.
thoughts, that this movie wasn't great, but it wasn't like a massive pile of douche. I still wouldn't see it again unless Andrew was paying, obviously.
Fuck that.
Look,
What do you give it?
out of
1 to
10, we were going with 10s, weren't we?
Yeah.
Cool, look, out of 10, I'd probably stick it somewhere between a 2 and a 3, probably about a 3-ish.
Okay. Alan?
Okay. So I didn't think it was as horrible as like going into it. There were some parts I did like, but it was still pretty bad. So I'd give it like props for the choreography. Choreography was good.
Solid.
Like a quarter of the music was good. Acting, was all right. Probably the best
the
part
actors did
was
great.
probably the best part was Ian McKellen.
Yeah.
I think his was probably the best acting part. Okay, CGI was very average because there was a lot of bad CGI, but a lot of good CGI. Mainly the fur. That's about it. Otherwise, overall, look, the story was shit.
Well, you're not pulling any punches, are you?
The story was shit.
We're not sponsored by them, just to let everyone know.
No, story was shit. I don't understand why they want to die, especially the balloon. That's a fucking horrible way to die. Getting into a balloon and then going into the atmosphere and then the balloon probably popping or fucking who knows what.
I think they probably suffocate from you're not allowed. You can't breathe enough air.
Yeah.
Well, looking at it from
production,
that perspective, the whole thing
the
doesn't make
sets,
sense.
the set designs and the sets were, I thought, real good. That was probably the best part of it.
I agree.
So I'm going to give it out of 10. I'll give it a solid 4. It's not the worst thing I've ever seen, but it's definitely a movie you don't really want to see unless you're high on drugs or with a bunch of friends. There are much better movies to see and waste 2 hours on. So yeah, I give it a 4 out of 10.
Okay. So ultimately, I guess that leaves me left. The movie, I think overall in general, was actually pretty bad story-wise. Wasn't really a big fan of the numbers that they had. The music didn't really grip me in any way, shape, or form. However, I will say that I thought that the technical achievement of making CG cats, like what they had to work with, what their direction was, and the artists had to deal with, they actually did come up with something incredibly realistic. The lighting on it was beautiful. The emotion portrayed in it, syncing up the faces actually to the cats' bodies, was done very well. I think it suffers a lot from the uncanny valley, in my opinion, which makes it look bad when it actually is very, very good CGI work. But yeah, you can get away with it in like things are actually animation, but this was very clearly people in green screen suits who had these elements grafted onto them. But that doesn't save the movie enough for me. I'm probably going to give it like a just on technical achievement alone, I would have probably given it a 5. But because we were counting it as a total, I'm giving it a 2. Because
A 2? Ooh.
yeah, a 2. Look, I just didn't think it was good. I don't think it's going to do well. I don't think it's going to be remembered, except for the flaming pile of dog turd that it was.
Yeah, that's what it's going to be remembered for, and it's going to gain a cult following because of how shit.
I think this is actually probably going to hurt the theater performance and buying tickets towards it, because you'll have people who watch this movie saying, "Oh, that's what it's actually about." Well, I guess I don't have to see the performance now.
Well, yeah, because it's I'm not into the performance. I was never interested in Cats, but yeah, because it's a movie, it's more easily available to the public than the stage play.
What did this get on Rotten Tomatoes? I'm curious.
Rotten Tomatoes have got 21% from.
Oh, they agree
critics.
with me. They're the 2%, the 2-star,
and 53% for audience score. Although,
wait, what was that?
53% audience score, 21%.
Wow, that's pretty high.
I don't trust Rotten Tomatoes. So we got what 4, 2, and 2, 4, 3, 2, right?
Yeah. So like an average of 3 between us. All right. Well, thank you for joining us. And
it was a catastrophe.
Let's fucking end on that. Yeah. Okay.
No
Shit,
way,
that's
Alan,
gross.
you're horrible. Peace out, boys and girls.